Next up on the number one tee.
Hello and welcome back to your virtual tea time. My name is Tori and I'm your host today, and I'm so excited about today's episode. We have Susan Hess joining us, founder and head designer of Golftini. Hi, Susan.
Hi, Tori. Thanks for having me.
I am so excited about this episode. So we both showed up. First of all, Susan and Golftini is going to be at our shopping night tonight at Desert Classic.
Very excited.
I'm so excited. I called you personally. I'm like, Susan, I need you there. I love your stuff. And I know the women will appreciate all your gear there. So
I'm excited. I'm just bummed I'm not playing.
I know. Next year,
yes.
For sure. I'm reserving you a spot. So it's the morning of shopping night and we both showed up to the podcast episode. I really wanted to have Susan on because her story is fabulous, but we're both wearing the Golftini sweater. And I have to say, I wear this almost every golf round this season.
Everyone tells me that. They love this sweater.
No.
And it's a V-neck sweater. But there's something about it.
There's something about it. Because I just got into wearing sweaters, let's say a year and a half, 2 years ago. I wasn't a sweater gal. This sweater, and this is something I discovered, probably 6 months ago about, right when it, I don't know, but this is when I discovered it. And it's not thick, but it keeps you warm and it's stretchy and you can easily swing a golf club in it. And it sits really well on the waist. Like it's still flattering. Sometimes you put on these sweaters that you want to wear golfing. They're really cute, but they're too thick or they're too bulky. They just are not golf ready. And
and a lot of times you end up wearing things that are fashion first, but not comfortable, and you still wear them.
Exactly.
So this is actually one that actually works too.
You blame your bad golf round on the sweater.
100%.
When do you know something's a hit? Like when did you, because I assume you're going to, this sweater's a hit. Are you going to continue making it? When do you know? Do you tweak it?
You know what? This sweater, we're tweaking it all the time, but I always think people love the sweater because we dye it to match like all our colors. Mm-hmm. Until people say, I love your sweater. It fits great. It's lightweight, all this stuff. And I'm thinking of the fashion part. Oh, and it fits well too.
Yeah.
But maybe I should start thinking the other way. But we are tweaking it. We're adding more colors every year. We add whatever the fashion color is. And then we keep our solid colors the same. So that green sweater, when we bring green back into the line, it'll match again with the green skort or whatever's green in the skort. So now we're adding like a little bit of detail. We have a little stripe coming. Which is crazy because all my tops are solid. Uh-huh. So I call it the crazy top. It has like one stripe on the sleeve, which is, nutty for us. But we're adding a little more details to our solids.
No, I love it. So I'm going to kind of go off on a tangent. I do want to get into the timeline of how Golftini came about. And I mean, this since 2004, you started this. So it's been...
Yeah. I didn't age though. When I say it's been 18 and 19 years since I really made the first skort, but I say 18 years because that was my first PGA show where I got my first order and then I had to be in business. So I kind of did most things backwards and I'm trying to do things forward, but
well, let's get right into it. So tell us how you got started. So 2004, what happens? What initiates?
2004, stay-home mom, 3 kids. My previous career was sales. I was lucky enough to stay home with my kids. Even though I say to every woman now, don't ever get out of your own business.
Yeah.
So side note. But at the time, I was happy to be home with my kids, but a little bit antsy in the fact that I had done fundraising and breast cancer walks. And I'd done a lot of stuff to keep me busy. I love to work. Mm-hmm. So moms, it's hard work, but I needed more.
Yeah.
So, and I was lunching and it sounds crazy, but I was kind of tired of that. Yeah. So I went and played golf and I joined a county course. The average age of the woman at the time there was 70.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
9 holes took 5 hours to play. I learned every single rule.
Because you felt like you had to? Like
Yeah. And I remember hearing on one of your podcasts, I think it was your sister, said, I just want to pick up.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to pick up. I mean, I'm on the third hole and I remember this like it's yesterday. It's the ball went over the bridge and then into the water. And I'm like, I'll just take like the max. And they're like, it's the tournament and you have to finish the hole. And I'm like, oh my God, we're going to be here all day. And I got a 15. The putt went in, right?
Yeah,
but it took a long time to get to that green.
Yeah.
But my grandparents had taught me when I was little, they played till they were 90 all over the world. And their stories and their friends were golf. And I was in love with my grandparents. And we would go to the driving range or putt-putt when we visited them. They never lived close to us. So I knew a little bit about golf, right? Just from the driving range and hearing stories. And so I decided to play golf. So I went to the golf course with the old ladies and I fell in love with it. And then 2 ladies in the group were younger and they had been laid off. And they're like, do you want to play 9 holes after? And we could do that in an hour and a half. And so we whipped around and I got like good enough and had those great shots that I wanted more.
Yeah, you got the golf bug.
Yes, I got it quick.
Yeah.
And so I would play another 9, rush to get my kids. It would be 10 at night and I would still be in this ugly golf outfit.
Yeah.
Homework and all this stuff. And I thought, okay, I like this sport, but I don't want to wear this stuff. So I was on the pursuit to find a cute something.
Now,
and there really wasn't.
No, there wasn't. So remind me what you were wearing. Like, where were you buying stuff? I mean,
I think I bought the first thing at a golf shop because I thought that's what you had to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I just had a skort that came up to my waist and pleated and long. And then
came
I wore
up to your waist, but still went down to your knees.
Yes. It was, and just horrible looking, not flattering, anything. And then I did wear my Lacoste shirts.
Okay.
Which when I first started, I only made skorts and I told everyone I didn't have time to make a top. Yeah. They're like, what about your tops? And I'm like, I don't have tops. Just wear Lacoste. They make them in every color. I'm plugging Lacoste.
Yeah.
But like they did make every single color.
Yeah.
So anyway, so my niece came to my house. She worked in New York City. I lived in New Jersey at the time, right outside of New York. So I was flipping through a women's wear daily. And in the back of the magazine was a sample maker named Sherry with a phone number in New York City. And I'm from the Midwest. I mean, I didn't know that there was a fashion district in New York City. You can build a whole company in 8 blocks. Just so you know. Yeah. I didn't know, but I did. I did. So anyway, I went to New York and it was before like texting. I called my friend and said, I'm going into this creepy building. I don't come out. This is where I am. And I met with this woman. I said, I just want a skort. I knew what I wanted, but I couldn't find it. I wanted something shorter and not crazy short, but shorter, stylish. I just want a black skort, really, like just a black skort. And so I took some that I had that I didn't like, and I told her what I wanted. And so she said, come back. Oh, first she sent me to a fabric store to buy 2 yards of fabric. So I bought 2 yards of black fabric. And I walked by a ribbon store that looked like a candy store to me, like so many in New York City, like beautiful, beautiful store. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, this is cool. So I thought it might look cute with some ribbon somewhere. So I put ribbon down the sides and then I added a back pocket after I played in it because I forgot to add a pocket. And I put ribbon on the back pocket. So there is to this day still ribbon on every skort just because of that. Yeah. That's how I started. So anyway, she said, come back in a week. I, drove home, got home by 3, did the kid stuff, blah, blah, blah. I go back in a week and the skort fits.
And you love it right off the bat.
I love it. So I go and I wear it to my group, which the old ladies, which they say that now, I'm pushing there. And they didn't notice. But then the younger girls that I played with were like, I love that skort. And I said, oh, I had it made. And they're like, will you make us one? I'm like, okay. Because I thought, okay, I can go make another one. So I went in.
Because you already have the pattern pretty much
I
set
had one pattern in one size, just mine.
Yeah.
I didn't know about grading. I mean, back it up. I don't have business degree or a fashion degree.
Yeah.
I just needed a skort and I like fashion.
Yeah.
So
No, this
there's
is
that.
why I love this story.
So anyway, I go back to New York. I go to the fabric store and then I can see all these beautiful fabrics because I was only looking for black.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm looking for these two girls I played with and I didn't know them. I mean, I just knew them through golf. So I picked some fabrics that I thought would suit them.
Mm-hmm.
My picking, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then I picked a fun one for me since I just had black. And I had Sherry make 3 more. And they were different sizes. They told me their size. So there's grading.
Mm-hmm.
It's a thing. Specs, all this stuff that I just didn't know about. So now I have 3 sizes. Could you pay for each size?
Okay, tell us exactly what grading is.
So like if I'm a size 4 and my waist is a size 26, a size 6 is 27 and a size 8 is 28. And then the lengths get a little shorter and longer as the sizes go up and down.
So is that really how simple it is?
No.
You like start at a certain size
That's
and
where-
just kind of
Yes.
move up and down from there?
Yes. I mean, there's so many, like,
Yeah.
as you know, like all brands fit differently.
Uh-huh.
There is an international grading chart,
Oh, there is, but no
but
one follows
no
it.
one's following.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, let's get
Yeah.
back on
Yes.
track.
Yeah.
So you got these new skirts for your friends.
Right.
too,
And
now.
so then a girlfriend wanted one, like a girlfriend that
Yeah.
plays golf.
Mm-hmm.
And I wore it playing with her. And so I made one for her. And then the word got out. So all my friends wanted them. So I went in and I negotiated with Sherry to make 20. And I picked the fabrics to the personalities. And I made one for each person. And so they were hanging on a rolling rack in my living room. And my friends would come over to pick up their skort. Now, I didn't know about business. So like I didn't take into account babysitting, parking, tolls,
Mm-hmm.
all the fabrics.
Yeah.
Because they're like, how much? And I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, no, but like I really like
Yeah. You
Yeah.
were just covering the costs of what you
like the fabric and
Sherry.
Sherry.
Yeah.
Right. Not my time.
No.
No.
Of course not.
Nothing. Right. So anyway, they bought the people that came over first, they wanted 2 and 3. So I'm like, okay, they're not just being nice. Right.
Yeah.
Because they would just buy one to be nice.
Yeah.
And I didn't have a name. I just had a size like in the back of the skort. That's how I knew what size it was.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have a hang tag. I didn't have a package. I didn't have anything. They were just coming to my house. A couple of them, I mean, this is like, I'm trying to make the short version, but someone was getting a golf lesson and the pro's wife worked at a shop as a merchandiser. He must have gone home and told her. She knocked on my door of my home and said, can I sell your skorts in my golf shop? And I'm like, maybe. Like, what? Yeah.
Let me
like,
call Sherry.
Like, I'm like, what are you thinking? Like, I had no idea.
Yeah.
And she goes, and I had some hanging like in the rack in my living room. And she's like, well, what if she goes, I'll just do it for you. Just give me a skort and then I'll just give you the money.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, okay. Like she didn't want a salary or she just wanted to sell them.
Mm-hmm.
And her shop would make some money, which I learned all that.
Yeah.
So she took 6, like on her finger out the door, and her members bought them. And they would call my house phone and say, can I get a blue plaid for Mrs. Smith?
Yeah.
In between that and me making them, I had to come up with a name because I knew I needed a tag,
Yeah.
like a name.
Yeah. So how did the name come about?
So I went to a martini bar with my friend, the first girl that I made the first skort with. And we had a couple of martinis. And it was the bar was called Martinis. And at the time, 2004, like martinis were hot in New York City, like
Mm-hmm.
Cosmos
Yeah,
and
it's
all
Sex
that.
and the City
yes,
era,
all that.
yeah.
Lemon-tinis, like
Mm-hmm.
crayon-tinis, everything was a teeny.
Yeah.
So since my grandparents taught me how to play golf, I was thinking the name would be, my grandfather was Wally, my middle name's Lee. I was thinking Wally, and the L is like a golf club. I mean, I was like all over the
Yeah.
place. And then my mom passed away of breast cancer when I was 14. And this was like, I'd done a lot of breast cancer walks and I wanted whatever this was going to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe about her. And pink golf tees is a thing now, pink tees, pink everything. But at the time it wasn't really big yet. So pink tees was actually a name. And then all of a sudden we were literally writing about napkins at the bar. I look up, there's this huge martini, like neon in front of me. And I wrote down Golftini as one word. And I drew a martini glass. And that martini glass to this day is on all my shirts, low and left. I don't really like big logos.
Yeah.
It's light pink for breast cancer awareness.
Is it always light pink?
It's always light pink, no matter what it's on.
Yeah, I love that.
So anyway, I checked on the big World Wide Web, right? Like it wasn't as easy to just Google if someone had it. And no one had it, the name. So I made a tag and Sherry told me where to go to get the tag made, like in a block down the road. And she also told me where I could go get zippers for cheaper. So everywhere I went, like someone told me where I could get something else. So as I moved around New York City, I was buying different fabrics and different ribbons. And, you know, there were 5 ribbon shops, not just the one I saw. So then I got I got a discount because they said, do you have an ID, a tax ID? And I'm like, oh, I guess I should get one of those. So I got one of those and then I got like a little discount on some stuff. Yeah. But I didn't know, like everything I learned was somewhat
trial and
error. Learning from people telling me. So I do pride myself on helping anyone that's new because I made so many mistakes and it took so long and money and time and like all that. So anyway, I made these skorts. She was selling them. They're calling my house phone. My kids are answering the phone like past residents, Keegan speaking. Oh, Mrs. Smith from Echo Lake needs this. I found a little sheet of paper when I moved, like they wrote down what these people wanted. I would then drive to New York City, go buy the 2 yards of blue plaid, buy the ribbon, go back in a week, and then hand deliver it because I didn't have like a FedEx account or anything to the club. And this went on. And then someone told me about the PGA show and that I should go. And I said, oh, what is it? No idea.
Yeah.
But I have a label and I'm selling some skorts. I'm not making any money. It's fun. I'm making more for me as I go. And then I went to the PGA show and I got a $70,000 order the first day.
Okay, wait. What year was it that you went to the PGA
2005.
So you're 1 year in. And
I'm like 7 months.
7 months in. And you go to the PGA show. And I could imagine probably in 2005, the PGA show was
popping.
Ginormous.
I had a 10 by 10 booth. I decided to go in November. The show's in January.
How many it's just skorts still?
So I signed up and it was like $6,000 to get a booth.
And you saw the value of that right away?
No, I don't. I'm not even thinking. I'm just going to follow through with this because that is what I do. If I say I'm going to do something.
Yep.
So I said to my family, like, when I get back, everything will be back to normal.
Yeah.
Which we call it the new normal. And they don't even know anything pre-Golftini. Yeah. So I haven't made dinner since. I mean, I can order it and I can make food.
That
right?
I can appreciate too.
Yes. So anyway, I took my best friend and my niece. And because I invested this $6,000, which was a lot, I didn't have a fund for this. I didn't
you were
get funding. I was just going and doing. And I went to the seminar because it came with the $6,000 booth in New York City. And I sat in a room for 8 hours, which I never do that stuff.
What was the seminar?
On how to do a trade show.
Okay, but it wasn't like
I would
how
never
to do the
go
PGA
to that now.
show. But
it was how to do the PGA show.
It was. Okay, it was specific to PGA show.
It came with my beginner's packet.
Oh my gosh, I love this.
Well, then I had to rent a table and a garbage can and a rolling rack and a grid, which were more.
Yeah.
So the booth was like $10,000. Yeah. Then I had to get there and get a hotel and bring my friend and my niece. But they were talking about collections and showing your collection. And I thought, God, I only have skorts. So I went into a mad dash I made a sleeveless shirt and a short sleeve shirt in 3 colors. Stretch cotton. Everything was stretch cotton. I sourced a sweater from a sweater store I walked by.
And what does that mean though? What does sourcing a sweater mean?
So I make, like, her sister owns a store.
Mm-hmm.
She buys it from all her stuff in that store from vendors.
Yeah.
I bought a sweater from a vendor to sell.
Yeah.
And I put my Martini logo on it.
So you basically buy the rights to sell someone else's design.
A lot of people have wholesale
Yeah.
things that they sell.
Yeah.
So I didn't have time to, like, think about making a sweater, but I thought I needed a sweater.
Mm-hmm.
So I sourced a sweater, and then I made a capri because they were hot, and a Bermuda short, and some T-shirts.
Okay. Wow.
That I put the logo on because I had this one T-shirt that I liked, and I liked to golf in it. It was casual. So that was that. And we had our little rolling rack, a banner that had Golftini on it. That cost $165. I was like running out of money. Like that's why I remember how much. And I didn't trademark Golftini until after the show because some man said to me, "Great name," as he walked by my booth. And he goes, "You should have that trademarked." And I said, "Oh, it's in the works."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "How do I do that?"
Yeah, exactly.
So I came home, that was $1,500. Like there were so many, right.
No.
But thank God he said that.
Mm-hmm.
And that I had the wherewithal to,
follow through with it.
Pretend I knew what I was talking about. But then I was at the worst booth by the bathroom, and it was PGA Tour Superstore. They were grand opening in 6 weeks. And I had said to Sherry before I went, "Hey, if I get an order, like, can you do more quicker?"
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I wasn't thinking.
Because we're still working with Sherry at this point.
I only have Sherry.
Yeah, Sherry is it. Sherry is designing the shirts at this point. She's doing the capris.
Mm-hmm. Actually, the people across the hall from Sherry did the shirts. I know.
But we're still in Sherry mode. Okay. And
we're not production.
Yeah.
No, I made cute samples, which I was good at. Because I was really just making samples. So I kind of picked my favorite, and that's what I took.
Mm-hmm.
I never thought about getting a big order
and
then having to buy all the fabric, and if they even still had the fabric.
So what happened?
Yeah, there.
So what happened?
I haven't slept since. Yeah.
So a buyer comes over to you and
they loved it because it was different. And it was different. It was stretch cotton, and it was cute, and all the cute ribbon detail. And it was just different. Yeah. It was just different. It was feminine, a little shorter, but not short to these days standards, right? Mm-hmm. And like when I say $70,000 order, they bought every single piece, like deep, and they were saying 1222211. Yeah. And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. But they wanted one like size 2 and 2 size 4s and 2 6s and 2 8s and whatever. And they're like, "Do you do personal use discount?" No, said, "Do you do PUD?" And I said, "Maybe. What is it?" And they're like, "Personally, like if they wanted to buy it, it would be cheaper." Mm-hmm. Like I'm just learning, right? Mm-hmm. Like, and it was priced high because it cost me more than I was even making at the time because I was making one. Mm-hmm. So anyway, like we have this big, huge order, and we got a little buzz at the show because we were different, and we sold to country clubs. I would have been happy with the orders that I got beside the big one, but the big one really put me on the map because it allowed me to go to production, which I had to figure out. But I could get a better price, like if I make 100 of something. Yeah. So anyway, we got the big order. We went to the bar. We're giggling. People were like, "How'd it go?" We're like, "It was great. We got a huge order." And then I went into like full like panic because I really had maxed out all my credit cards to like get here. And I called my dad and I'm like, "Dad, I just got this huge order, and like, can I borrow some money? I know I'm going to get this money back, but they don't pay me for like 30 days after. And like, and I have 6 weeks I only had 6 weeks to get this whole order made and filled and shipped there." Mm-hmm. So I didn't have a billing system. Like we came home and found QuickBooks, and my niece, I said, "Will you just live with me and help me with like kids in this. She's like, okay. And so we were back and forth to New York City. But what happened that night at the PGA show, and I think everything is like for a reason. There's no coincidence. Like I'm just on my journey of wherever I'm going and I'm doing the right thing along the way. But I went into the bathroom and I had met this girl in Connecticut at a little tiny trunk show, like in that summer, where someone said, can you come to our club and bring Golftini? And she was another vendor. And I ran into her in the bathroom. And she's like, how's it going? I'm like, great, I got a big order. I go, but I don't even have production. This was like I was starting to not breathe. And she said, oh, my husband's a production manager in New York City.
Wow.
I was in his office on Monday morning and he taught me everything I know. And shout out to Carl.
Carl. Okay, so we've gone to Sherry to Carl at this point.
Because I went back to Sherry and Sherry's like, oh, no, I can't do that. I'm like, okay, well, I have Carl. So I put all my faith in Carl and I went and I learned about how many yards it takes to make a skort. And I had to go buy that many yards. And I had to like order more fabric from a manufacturer. And I had to get a lot more than I needed to fill this order. I think I probably still have that skort, a lot of them. But he helped me make it happen. Yeah.
So, okay. So that was the big,
that's what pushed me to start a business, like an order.
Yeah. Was that
because I had to
order? Yeah.
I just had to.
Yeah.
And like I said I would do it. So I have to do it. So I did it.
So what was the next kind of big breakthrough looking back? Because that was in 2005.
There was no big breakthrough. It was slow and steady. It was money, time, money, and people. I think the next breakthrough was someone called me probably in 2006 and said, can I be your sales rep? And I came from sales. So I'm like, I got this. I don't need a sales rep. Oh my God, I have 21 now. Like you need sales reps. I can't sell and design and raise kids and fight. But I'm like, the sales is like the easy part. But I didn't have time. Like not even in New Jersey. I mean, I was doing it because I didn't have anyone. So, I didn't have a website that you could buy off of it. So it was like that came maybe 3 years later. But by being in the PGA store, more people saw it, asked their clubs to bring it. Clubs were calling me and I was selling them Golftini. The first year I only had one like spring. Someone said, oh, when's your next line come out? I'm like, what? And then I learned that a lot of companies have spring and fall. So the next year I had spring and fall, but I didn't have time to make fall. And I had so much spring and no one, like, it's all really the same.
Yeah.
Just different colors and stuff, but I had enough to sell in the fall. So, a lot of things like just kept pushing forward and I kept learning. And then the more clubs I was in, like the more things I could make. I could never really get out of trouble because I didn't have any money to get out of trouble. My dad did lend me that money, which I've paid him back. It took a long time, plus interest. Yeah. Hi, Dad. But, he taught me a lot. He made me write a business plan to give him the money. I wrote it for him, not me, because I didn't have time. I've now been through business classes and I've learned everything I'm doing wrong and everything I was doing right. And I think not knowing was a little blessing because I saw a lot of companies come and go that had a lot of money and a plan. And I think like when the pandemic happened, I'm like, oh, I mean, I've already been through every single thing to not be in business. And it was totally scary. But I'm like, I've already had a pandemic. Yeah. Like I've already had to shift and pivot and do things differently. Yeah. So I'm kind of good at thinking on my feet. And I think really that's why I'm still in business. And, when I hit my first $1 million, that was so huge. And that was in 2011. Joe's not here. Joe's my right-hand man. It was like 6 years ago. And then we once we kind of hit that, we were on a mission, and we had a little bit of money to branch out a little bit more and think more and plan more. And then during the pandemic, like golf was big, and I didn't cancel that fall order where a lot of people canceled their fall order. One, because I really wanted to support my factories and I wanted to support my reps to have something new. And I knew I was going to have extra like product, but in a way, everyone couldn't get product and I had product. So like that worked out, not without stress. I mean, it was during the pandemic, it was Lisa and I, who was my customer service girl. I had now moved to Chicago in 19, and she and I ran the whole thing. We packed boxes, designed, did social media, and got to see each other every day. There's a little like loophole that we could work because everyone had to stay home.
Yeah.
But like, that's when like, I feel like Golftini really took a turn that I was comfortable like with being able to do more things. Like I never really traveled before. Like I love it when I can come do this, right? I couldn't have afforded to buy a plane ticket and come and do that. So it's been a slow and steady and stressful like way. And it's still scary every single day because now I employ a lot of people and a lot of sales reps, and they count on me to keep bringing new, fresh designs. And I finally hired a production person. I was doing production until 6 months ago. All of it, every spec, every grading, every measuring.
Well, let's get into those nuts and bolts.
Yeah, there's so many.
Oh my God, I'm sure. So let's start with the line. So you still come out with one spring line, one fall line.
Yes, and now I'm doing little capsules in between.
Okay. So we're in March right now. What is this, like, what are your busiest times of the year?
Well, now it's like kind of all year, but a new collection comes out January 1 every year and then June 15. Okay. And that's pretty industry standard. So we do that. And
how many pieces is that? Is it?
So I've always, what's I think is fun, and we always did it. And then we thought, we don't really talk about it, but internally, I name all the skorts, right? It used to be blue plaid, right? But like today I'm wearing day drinking, and it comes short and long now. But day drinking is in the Island Fever collection. So that launched in January, and there's sand castles and beach bum and day drinking and wind down and sunrise, sunset. So they're all sewn, the names are sewn into all the skorts. And the next collection is called Energy, and that's coming out in June. And 2024 is now complete. Yeah. Which is choose your own adventure. So every collection is kind of what's going on in my life. And I'm on a roll to like start to travel and go on adventures. Yeah. So that's why that's happening.
I love that. So how long does it take from start to finish, from starting to plan a collection all the way to it's in your hand and on your website?
Well, I'm probably different than most because I remember reading something that like Tori Birch has one person that buys all her buttons and that I know, right? And that it's a year from concept for them. Like, and they're a year ahead. So I'm not like that. I'm trying to get better, but I say it's the Ohio State way. I went to Ohio State. I did everything last minute, and I work best under pressure. It's my own stupid pressure that I put myself under, but I can pull it out. So my goal was to finish 2024 concept, which is less than a year. Normally I would start it I'd finish up in April. So I'm inching my way to better.
And you're picking out all the fabrics still.
So no, I actually design all the fabrics now. That happened in 2009-ish.
Wow.
So a customer called me. I answered the phone because there's just two of us. Yeah. And she said, have you ever thought about designing? I love your skorts. Have you ever thought about, she was ordering something, designing your own fabric. And I'm like, no, I hadn't. So she put it in my head, and her husband was a fabric designer in New York. So here I go again. And I went to this really cool building, and I thought, I don't even know how I'm going to afford this, right? But
let's just see what happens.
Let's learn. And that's what I did. I just kept going and learning. So it was very cool. And I thought, oh my God, this is the fun part. This is my most fun part. So now I design all the patterns that you see. So, and I learned how to do it. I mean, they do it, but like I pick it, they put it into a design, and then they send it to a factory, and then it's printed on fabrics. Yeah.
Because again, these are all your patterns.
At the time, I'm still in stretch cotton.
Yeah.
But then I learned people wanted more performance. Everything kind of went performance. So I I still had cotton, but I tested some performance, like a Nike type fabric. And now I have like 4 or 5 fabric bases that I just use all the time. And I've got silhouettes that I use all the time. And then I'll add more silhouettes as we go. But like the one like pull-on tech skort that I'm wearing right now, it comes in 2 lengths. So I know what fabric that's going to be. And then I just print whatever. I build collections through it. So I decided, so right now all my patterns and colors are picked for 2024. And then I get a piece of that fabric with it on it. I get them in all the fabrics. And then I lay it all out and decide what's going to be what. And what sweater I need or what color shirt I need. And I know that I need to keep it fresh and new. So I keep making new styles, but the ones that work, I just keep adding more colors.
So I know. No, I love it all. And you always use bright colors. Is that important to you? Like,
so we're wearing the brightest colors, right?
Yeah.
I think there's a bright color person. When I first started, I felt like I was the answer to Lily, because Lily didn't have pockets, but it was bright. And Lily's very recognizable and fun and bright. And I liked it, but it didn't have pockets, right? Yeah. So
we need pockets.
So that's why I said I'm like the answer. And people would say that, like, you have bright things, but I love wearing black. My first skort was black. I like to be all in black. I live near New York City. So I always have black, white, and hot pink, because those are my core colors. And then, so I have that collection, but then I'll switch it up a little bit. Like black and white is always fun. So those are like the easy ones. And then the fashion color, and navy is like almost like my black. It's so popular. Navy goes.
I mean, it's a natural.
Right. And I love navy and black together. Some people don't get it, but I love it. But then I pop in a fashion color, and I need to have something bright. So spoiler alert, turquoise is coming, paired with some fun colors for spring.
Love it.
And periwinkle is for the energy that's coming in June. So we still have like a lot of, and camel, which is really fun. I could change it up. People are loving it. So I know that each season that I do it, my reps tell me what's happening, like and because we haven't had a show, like I didn't know because I hadn't been out in the field. So we just did a show, and I got so much great feedback, good and bad. And by bad, like, I can do it. Like someone's like, well, I love it shorter, but I think you should do longer. I think it would be great. I'm like, okay. So it's coming longer. Like, it's coming both. So I listen to what's going on.
Yeah. Let's get into skirt lengths, because that's another thing that you guys do that Golftini does that I think is really important, which you offer. Is it 3 different lengths or 2?
There are 3, but generally what I just started to do was I used to have a shorter one. And it's not as short as tennis, but a shorter one. And then we call it regular length, which is 17.5 is the regular length on a medium. So what people don't know, and it's hard to explain through a website and you never know, like the merchandiser in the shop might know this, but that doesn't mean their salesperson knows it. And the lady that wants to just shop on her own doesn't know it, but we're working on that. But it goes up and down. So the smaller you get, the shorter it gets, and the larger you get, the longer it gets. So what we found is, like, if you're a size medium or large shorter woman, it's too long. Like that 17 and a half is too long.
Mm-hmm.
So it's only an inch and a half shorter. So the shorter one seems to work on that woman.
Yeah.
But then, back in 2005 and 6, like at 17 and a half, that was before Michelle Wee came out with her short Nike skort. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
That made mine look frumpy because like she was so leggy and at the time there were people like, and a lot of clubs, not a lot, a few still have strict regulations because at one point I made a longer length skort, the 17 and a half and then a 19. And I still make that. And my customer that wants that coverage, I still do it in a couple styles.
But that's not.
But the trend is shorter.
And the shortest length is 15 inches?
So the shortest length is 16.
Okay.
But that's on a medium.
Yeah.
So if you're a small, it's 15 and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're extra small, it's 15. Mm-hmm. And if you're an extra small, it's 14 and a half.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I do have a 14 and a half coming March 15th as a test and a set, a cute jacket with it. And that's one I'm now going to make in longer also. So I'm going to make 2.
Yeah. I find that 15 inches, like when I'm looking at skirts, that seems to be my sweet spot is 15
Well, and
inches.
how tall are you?
5'7".
Okay.
Yeah.
So it really just depends if you're leggy or like I'm
Wow.
5'9". I wear the shorter one to run around in, but I always wear a longer one to golf in.
Mm-hmm. Now, have you gotten into the tennis sector?
So we've added a tennis ball pocket to some of our skirts and pickle. A lot of it's crossover. I was just in Florida with my sister. She went to play tennis. She came back with a video for the lady she was playing with who she didn't know, and she was in a full Golftini outfit playing tennis. So you can play tennis in it.
Absolutely.
My name is Golftini. My son, that happened during the pandemic. He started working for me. He lives in Denver. He's running our marketing. Just so fun. And he's like, well, Mom, the name's Golftini. Like, how are we going to get into like other sports? I'm like, relax. Like, we're okay.
Yeah.
We are. Like, so many things cross over. People that don't golf wear it. People travel in it. People play pickleball in it.
Or like you said, they just run around.
Right. We're thinking of all that. And I'm thinking of all that when I design it. So I want to be able to go play pickleball. I don't want to wear another skort.
Yeah.
I tried on every single, my sister's a tennis player, all her tennis skirts this week when I was visiting her. And I, could go into tennis. There's men's, there's like so many different things, but I think we'll creep into the tennis and pickle because we really already are there.
Yeah.
We just don't have. I do own Tennis Teeny, so you can't get it if you try to get it. But you know what? I don't think I have to change my name. I think we can just market it to tennis and pickle. And it's okay that it's Golftini.
When I play pickleball, I just wear my golf clothes. Like I'm not buying clothes specifically for pickleball. I'm just wearing my golf clothes. It's
or
the
your
same
workout
thing.
Clothes or like something cute.
I'd say more times than workout clothes, it's golf clothes. You know, because
you could go do anything right now.
Exactly.
We both could in what we're wearing.
Okay, so one of the things that my sister always talks about is that, because again, she's in the industry, she owns the golf and tennis stores. She says Golftini never gets returned. It's never damaged. It's always the highest quality. So what kind of processes do you have in the background that are ensuring this? Because like even just wearing this sweater, I feel like this is going to last forever. And I have washed this numerous times. Like it just holds so nice. And I just know I'm going to have this for a long time.
So I am really, really picky about that because when I first started, the skort was $136. It was stretch cotton. I put in the tag, you need to dry clean it because I thought someone's going to throw it in the dryer. You can't put it in the dryer. I wash everything with like shoes and dry it and colors to see what happens before it goes to my reps. Like I make sure that it can be bulletproof and some things can't. And it's very clear, you know, that you can't put something, if you put a nylon into a hot dryer,
it's going to shrink.
It's not going to be okay. But I'm very particular with all those details about the quality. And my customer service, I've heard her say, "Oh, Susan puts it in with a shoe." Like, it's fine. And the sweaters, I do put everything in the wash and dryer, which I just do. I kind of do it as a test, but I just do it. I mean, unless I really know it shouldn't go in there, but
even so,
I know.
I mean, I have 3 kids at home. The laundry pile is ginormous. Even the things that aren't supposed to go in, they still get in.
They can get in. Yes.
And it's like,
we also know, like, and I was, brought up in the Midwest where the customer's always right. I don't know that someone taught me that. Mm-hmm. And then I lived on the East Coast for 20 years and I'm like, I'm the customer right now. And I'm wrong. Like, how is this? So customer service is really important to my company. Like, we mess up, but we fix it. Yeah. And I think that's what we try not to mess up, but we could accidentally send a wrong thing. Mm-hmm. We'll pay to get it back. We apologize. Like, we make it right no matter what. We just make it right. And everyone knows that on my team. I have a great team. Like, I couldn't do this without my team. Like, they just care. Mm-hmm. They really care and they feel like family. And, I'll do anything for them. And I feel like they'll do anything for me. And it's a great, fun place to go to work every day.
That's the best. That is the best. Mm-hmm. So 2 hot buttons in women's golf apparel. 1, why is it so expensive? And 2, why aren't there larger sizes? So can we touch on both of them?
Yes. So when I first started, I told you, like, done all this stuff to keep busy. Mm-hmm. And I worked for like a worthwear. And I learned a lot about sizing then. And that was like a in-home shopping thing where I got a sample set from a company. My friends would come in and their friends of friends, and I'd have it for a week. And I set my living room up for whatever. And they did size 0 to 16. Mm-hmm. And so when I first started Golftini, I did 0 to 16 because that's all I knew, right? That's what I knew. Mm-hmm. And people were so happy that I had a 16 and that I had a 0. Okay. Mm-hmm. And zeros weren't really a thing because now there's vanity sizing, there's triple zeros, right? Yeah, it's a lot. But the 0 to 16 was like my core, like, base. And I realized that when I went into pull-ons, the extra large wasn't cutting it. It was only kind of fitting a 14. So I added extra large to it. I feel like there's a stigma to plus sizes. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why people started making vanity sizes in the sense of, like, in a Nike, I wear a whole size smaller than, and a lot of brands, like, right, you're just a smaller size and it makes you feel good for a minute, but like, you're still your size.
Okay, wait, I didn't realize that you guys call it vanity sizing. So yeah, I am a whole size less in Nike too. Mm-hmm. So you're saying that they purposely, I mean, we know this just from trying it on, but like the sizing is changing just so we feel better about buying a size 6 instead of a size 8. Mm-hmm.
I know. So this is this place where we are. I recognize that as you get older, your body changes, and I want to change with it, but I still have, I started, I was 40 and now I'm not. But I recognize that, and I look like, I don't see normal anymore. Like, I look at someone's body type all the time and think, what would they look good in Golftini, or could they wear it, or what could I do? And so I do have a few things that are coming out in spring 24 that I'm not going to, like, size 24 yet, which, and then there's the 2X, which is different than a extra large. Mm-hmm. It's a different thing. I'm learning and I'm aware of it. And I see the people that are golfing, and I need to address it. And I'm doing, I don't want to say the word boxing. We haven't figured out the word yet, but I'm a fuller cut on some shirts. Mm-hmm. But I still need to stay true to my people that, like, love what I'm doing now and kind of stay in my lane. Mm-hmm. And like I said, the cash flow of making another size is a whole different thing. And will it sell or not? So I'll test it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to test some different bodies and see. And when I test, I do 1 or 2. And then I see if it works. And if it works, then I'll do more. So I'm recognizing that. My skirts run really true. My tops run a little smaller. That's because when the vanity sizing started, I made a 00 and everyone went down a size.
Yeah.
Just like everyone else. In fact, I was a size 8 my entire life. I'm 5'9".
Mm-hmm.
I was always athletic. I was fat in college.
Yeah.
But like everyone.
We all were.
Right. But what I'm saying is like I was kind of always the size. I didn't think 8 was a big size. I still don't.
Yeah.
But I am a 4, and that original skort that I made is a size 8. It's got the 8 in it, no tag. I still have it. It fits me the way my 4 fits right now. And that's just what's happened over 18 years.
It's so interesting.
I mean, it happened gradually. So people, you don't really know.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point people are like, oh, Golftini, it's so teeny. And I'm like, it's a martini, first of all.
Yeah.
No, but
I could see
it was running smaller than other brands.
Mm-hmm.
So I did have to adjust to that.
Yeah.
And when you adjust to that, then there's confusion for a while. So you just gradually kind of do it. I mean, I took a big jump for one size and then it's gradually, but I think the skirts are true to size. I still wear the same size, but I wear a medium top, and a lot of other brands, like fashion brands, I wear a small. Yeah. But I'm a medium and I'm an 8, but I'm really a 4 and a small. So, but I actually know what I am. We all do.
How about it being so expensive?
So I produced in New York when I first started for 7 years, and that was expensive. And I wasn't even covering my costs, as I said. Yeah. Now I do produce overseas in a couple different countries, and it's not that much cheaper. It's more convenience. And by that, I was running around New York City, and you have to either pay someone to source a button, a ribbon, a trim, a color, a dye, like all these things where it's time saving in big, huge factories. And, I'm I'm doing some sustainable products going to 24. I recognize that. Like, things are always changing, and I'm just trying to pay attention and do the best that I can. The costs are just, they're going up. Yeah. I've been airing everything in since March of 2020, which is $2 or $3 more per piece. Like, but it's not floating around the ocean in a container, and I have it. So I'm still doing that because I don't feel like we're out of this completely yet. And it allows you to always have product on hand. So if someone calls and needs more, you're able to give them more faster. Right. And that's like, I did build my business on special ordering, like for the country clubs. If they don't have the size, we ship it the same day. And it's a little plug for my people, but like we do that. And we did that from the beginning because I needed, if it went out that day, the money came in a day, exactly. 30 days later, right? So it was money and customer driven. And now it's really just customer driven. People can't get over how quick they get their stuff. So, I feel bad. I'm a middle child. I'm a people pleaser. I want someone to be able to get what they want.
How is it is there any thought of not having pro shops as the middleman and just doing online?
Not for me right now.
You still see upside in it.
I see people in it and their livelihoods. And it's, being a sales rep, I came out here, my sales rep from Arizona 2 years ago, I came out to help her get started for 3 days, and I stayed with her for 35, and we're friends. Yeah. And I was on the road with her and saw how hard these salespeople work, and the country clubs want a lot, right? And they do trunk shows, and they show the line, and they're independent, and it's a lot. And it was fun to see my customers, which are the end user, the lady who's shopping at the trunk show, but also the pro and the merchandiser, to get to know them. And yesterday I played golf at Arizona, Biltmore, and they just opened a brand new shop. And my rep knew what they had. So we wore the same outfits that are in the shop.
Love it. Of course.
And, you know, sold some stuff while we were there. But like, that was like really fun to see it there. And so yes, you make more money online because there's no middleman and there's no sales rep, but it's part of my business. Yeah. It's half my business. And I like doing it. So I don't see that happening.
So is
never say never, but not for a long time.
Is Golftini all over the country now?
It is.
It is.
And the world.
Every state and the world.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
It's really crazy when I think about it.
What would you tell yourself in 2004 that you know now that you wish? I mean, I know you learned all these details as you went, but is there one thing in particular that might have changed the timeline?
I don't think would I change a thing? Yes, but also no. Like, could I have blown Golftini up with more thought and investors and people like, cause that's just me.
Yeah.
I don't have investors. So it's my $25.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
it's your passion. You're in the middle of it still.
I'm still in the middle. I have really good people that are taking a lot off my plate, so I can think better. You know, I went to all my kids' basketball games. My kids played sports in college. Like, I don't know how I really did it, but I just kept doing it. The babysitter crossed over to like shipping packages. Like, that was insane. It was in my home until 2019.
Wow.
Every crevice of my home and a storage unit. And then I needed a warehouse, so I moved to Chicago.
Yeah.
And then I needed a bigger one. And so, you know, then that's more stuff and more people and managing. I didn't know how to manage people, but I learned. I'm learning, still learning. You know, good hires, bad hires, like they happen. You learn. I don't think I would change it because I think the way that it grew suited my life.
Yeah.
And, you know, I call in all the apostles sometimes to pay the mortgage. I remember like, Peter needs to pay Paul. Like, I mean, there was a lot of moving of things. And, you know, now I feel more confident because I know my numbers and I know how far I can push something. And I'm still learning all that, the profitability and how to make it better.
Well, you are truly an inspiration.
Oh.
You told me this story, the abridged version at the PGA show this past January. And I think I called you just a couple weeks after and was like, I need you here and we need to share your story because it's a big deal. And I have 3 kids and I know how tough that is. But I also know, like, I also did the stay-at-home mom thing and it wasn't everything for me. And I needed to step back out and work again.
And there's a lot of judging in there.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of judging of you're leaving your kids. I used to get, oh, you're traveling again. And I really wasn't. Like, I'm thinking, I was in Maryland for a basketball game, but I'm back.
Yeah. We're with our kids.
Right. So, you know, I think, like I said at the beginning, what I would tell people, and, you know, I've spoken to new companies, women, and I love to help them. And I say, always keep your pinky toe in something. Like all my interns that I've had, and they learn a lot, like about running a small business, which is you see everything. There's no transparency. Like it's just transparent. It's all transparent. But they see what they like in that business, and they've gone on to do other things. One into production, one likes design, one like so. I feel like I've taught them a lot. But what I say to them is like human woman to human woman is like having a family is great, but got to have you.
Yeah.
And you just still have to have you or you'll lose yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's, that's what my one thing that I would really say to any young woman or man.
Yeah.
Like, I hope that my kids, I have 3 boys, their wives keep their pinky toe in and they keep doing,
whatever fulfills them.
Right. Yeah. So, and nothing against a stay-home mom at all. That's the hardest job there is. So I do think that the fulfillment where I am now, my kids are out of the house. Thank God I have this. Like, what if I didn't? And I meet a lot of women that are trying to find something to do. And after their kids have gone away, and I'm like, well, think of what you like to do and then just do it. Like, figure it out. Like, don't think you have to have the money or the business plan, because you don't.
Yeah.
I mean, it will help, but you don't.
Well, Susan, thanks for being on.
Thank you. It was fun.
It was so fun. I can't wait to have you at the shopping night tonight, and we're going to have you in the tournament. Now, I assume that your golfing has probably been less since the business has taken off.
I get out there. I love there. I played yesterday. I'm playing 2 more times before I go back.
Good.
Like, I love it. I don't have time to practice, but like,
it's okay.
If I get there early enough to warm up, I call it practice.
Boom.
So there you go.
As long as expectations are in check, it really doesn't matter.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Some people may not be, but I'm okay with it.
Well, Susan's giving all the listeners a special discount. So check out the show notes for a discount code and all the information we talked about today. Thanks, Susan, for being on.
Thank you. So fun.
Be sure to check out the show notes for all the details on today's show. If you haven't already, please give a 5-star written review on your favorite podcast platform, or even screenshot this episode and send it to your golf buddies. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll catch you on the first tee in a couple days.